Alright, the big focus this week is using the same fingers each time you have the same pattern happening. So, I believe yesterday we established that your hand is more suited to going first, second, and fourth for the whole step pattern, which happens in the first two bars here. And when you have the half step, whole step pattern, you go first, second, and fourth. And then for the whole step, half step pattern, you'll have your first, third, and fourth. So, one thing I mentioned was think of it like you're always going to bookend everything with your index and pinky. Now, one thing we didn't talk about yesterday is, yes, there can absolutely be an exception to this rule depending on some odd riff or lick that you come across. One example for me, because I always do the first, third, and fourth for these things, but the first band I was in, which didn't last very long, a riff that they wrote, it was this. Damn it. It's been a while. Basically, they always tripped me up playing that because I was always doing it this way with the ring finger in the middle. And then, years after not being in that band anymore, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I used my middle finger instead for that whole step thing. And I was like, holy hell. It's way easier all of a sudden. So, there's one exception that happened for me. You might come across something like that yourself, but we're looking at what are you more likely to do, and most likely you don't come across odd variations too often. So a lot of stuff is very scale based in how the notes are laid out in the things that you play, things that we write, so on. So that's why we want to use the same set of fingers as much as possible. So when we're practicing scale stuff like this, same set of fingers every single time. So this way the hand thinks less. We want to get rid of thinking as much as possible and make this all subconscious as much as possible. So, get it. This number one and number two as fast as you can. Work on hitting that spread immediately, instead of having any hand rocking back and forth stuff to hit the bigger stretches. So let's demo here. So even though it's a 3-4, I'm going to count off 4 because that's the habit. And at the faster speeds, it'll be easier to tell when I'm going to start. Alright, 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not believe I just screwed that up. Wow! Take 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you hit that last note there on a downstroke. I mentioned that because I don't remember if accidental economy picking is a thing that you did. It's been over a month since we did that meet and greet. I don't remember. But next time, that's one thing we're going to start working on is alternate picking while changing strings that would result in possibly doing accidental economy picking. But anyway, yeah, make sure you hit this last note on a downstroke. So basically, every time you go to a new string, downstroke. 120, 1, 2, 3, 4. 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, number 2. So here it's going to be extra important that you're careful with hitting downstrokes every time you change strings, because for those people who have the accidental economy picking happen, good chance you'll hit the upstroke here and then do another upstroke here and then have the picking just totally flipped around. So every time you go to a new string, downstroke. So strict alternate picking the whole time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up the whole time. So here we go, 60 beats per minute. Number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. One 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So definitely focus on the new stuff before going back to working on 5 and 6 from last time anymore. And I believe that covers everything. But if any questions come up, let me know. And I'll see you next week.